Hello friends, we all are very fond of keeping pets. But do you know that the pet we get emotionally attached to thinking it to be innocent can be so dangerous that it can endanger the lives of our entire family? Today our story is also about such a pet that does not even pity its owner and pushes them to their death. So let's start without going too far with the explanation. Friends, the name of our story today is Sting. At the movie's beginning, we see an old woman, Helga, who is watching TV in her apartment. Then she sees a spider on the wall of the apartment. Frightened, Helga calls the pest control department. We see that Helga has written her name and address on the wall of the house, and she tells the pest control department her name and address while looking at it. Helga has amnesia. After a while, a pest appears at Helga's house. Frank comes from the control department, but Frank sees that someone from the pest control department has already come outside Helga's house. Then he goes inside and asks Helga about this. But by then, Helga had forgotten that she had called him, and she had also forgotten why she called him. Then they hear some noises from the ceiling. To check which, they go inside the apartment. Frank moves forward and sees blood stains on the floor. This blood belongs to the man who had come before Frank from the pest control department. He sees a big spider in front of him, which pulls Frank and takes him inside the ventilation pipe. Helga gets very scared seeing all this, but then she sees a show running on TV. Due to this, she forgets everything and starts watching the show again. The scene goes into a flashback, and the incident of 4 days ago is shown. We see something comes from space and falls directly on Helga's sister Gunter's house. From this, an alien spider, which was very small in size at the time. At the same time, we see Winter's granddaughter, Charlotte, who lives in the apartment next to Winter's. Charlotte often comes to Helga and Winter's apartment through the ventilation pipes so that she can take some action figures there. Then she sees a spider there. She keeps that spider in a matchbox. At the same time, hearing the sound of Gunter coming, Charlotte panics and goes towards her apartment through the same ventilator. But by the time she reaches her apartment, Gunter had already reached there. Gunter is the owner of this entire building. She starts scolding her son, Charlotte's stepdad Ethan, a lot because she knows that Charlotte sneaks into their apartment. To handle the matter, Charlotte's dad sends her to her room. After reaching her room, Charlotte first puts the spider into a glass box and names the spider Sting. She starts observing the spider when suddenly a cockroach starts coming towards the spider. Charlotte is about to kill the cockroach and throw it away when she notices that the spider is making some noises. Charlotte thinks that maybe the spider is hungry. That's why she puts the cockroach in the same box in which the spider was. Charlotte sees that the spider that is Sting swallowed the cockroach whole in one go. Seeing, she is very surprised because the size of the cockroach was much bigger than the spider. But looking at the spider, it seemed as if maybe its stomach was still not full. That is why Charlotte kills more cockroaches and feeds the spider. But the spider's stomach is not getting full. It just wants to eat. Seeing this, Charlotte goes outside. She sees that her dad Ethan is writing the comics. Ethan is a comic writer and Charlotte often helps him so that Ethan can make his character even more attractive. Heather, Charlotte's mom, feels very happy to see them working together because Charlotte likes Ethan, but she could never replace her dad with him. And Ethan is also trying to make Charlotte accept him. We see that the same night, Ethan goes to Charlotte's room with some of his comic ideas. He sees that Charlotte is not there. Then he sees the same spider. His eyes falls on the spider that Charlotte had kept locked in a box. Ethan is surprised to see such a big spider because he has never seen such a big spider before. At the same time, Charlotte arrives there and tries to divert Ethan's attention from the spider. After talking for a while, Ethan leaves there. After Charlotte falls asleep, we see that the spider has come out of the box and has gone to the Gunter's apartment through the ventilation pipe. There we see a parrot. The scene changes. The next morning we see that Calot is having breakfast with her family when they hear Gunter screaming. Everyone reaches there. They see that someone has killed Gunter's parrot badly. It seems that a rat had bitten the parrot badly. Everyone is surprised, but when Frank is called by the pest control department, then he tells them that this work is dangerous. It is of an insect and he starts searching for the insect. Meanwhile, Calot is sitting near the spider in her room. When she hears the sound of a cat, hearing this, the spider also starts imitating the sound of a cat. Calot is surprised to see this. She had never heard before that a spider could imitate the sound of a cat. Anyway, Calot now kills more cockroaches and gives them to the spider to eat. At the same time, a Neptune ball comes in front of the spider and the spider gets scared. Calot understands that the spider is scared of that ball. That is why she moves it away. At the same time, Frank sprays pesticide in the whole apartment to kill that dangerous insect. But when he reaches Calot's room, Calot refuses to do so because it could kill her spider. Then Frank sees Calot's spider. Frank tries to make Calot understand that she should not keep such insects. They can be dangerous. But Calot does not agree. The same night, we see that the spider comes out of the box once again, and through the ventilation, it reaches their neighbor Maria's house. At that time, Maria was remembering her family who died in an accident when Maria's dog starts barking loudly. The spider suddenly attacks Maria and then it goes inside her stomach through her mouth. The next morning, Calot takes her spider to her neighbor Eric, who is a biologist. Calot tells Eric that day by day, her spider's body is increasing. The size keeps on increasing. After looking carefully, Eric says that the size of your spider will keep on increasing every hour. That is why Eric wants to do some research on her spider. Calot agrees to this and leaves her spider with Eric. On the other side, we see that Maria's dog was so scared that it reached Ethan's apartment through the ventilation. On seeing this, Ethan immediately leaves it outside Maria's house, but Ethan notices that Maria's gate is already open. Along with this, her dog was also barking a lot from outside. Ethan has some doubts. That is why he goes inside himself and is shocked to see Maria's dead body inside. He immediately calls the police, but the police do not understand how Maria could have died. Here Ethan is shocked because some time ago a parrot also died in the same way. After the police leave, later Eric calls Ethan and talks about Calot's spider. Ethan understands that the spider is very dangerous and it is probably the one that is attacking everyone. Ethan goes to Calot and starts scolding her. However, Calot doesn't believe that her pet can kill someone because it has not harmed Calot till now. Meanwhile, the spider has killed all the insects in Eric's experiment and now its size has also become bigger than before. That night, Bunter hears her cat's voice from the ventilation. She thinks that maybe her cat is stuck there. She tries to get her cat out by entering inside it. Suddenly, the spider comes there and attacks Bunter and takes her inside the ventilation pipe. Ethan and Heather were talking when suddenly they saw a spider in their house. Seeing this, Heather starts screaming. But before they can do anything, the spider attacks them and drags them into the ventilation pipe. But Carlos doesn't know anything about all this because she is wearing headphones. When she comes out of her room, after a while, she sees a lot of blood outside, which makes her realize that this is the work of none other than her spider. She runs to her room. Then the spider takes away her brother in front of her. Seeing this, Calot gets very scared. But she suddenly remembers that spiders are afraid of naphthalene balls. That's why she makes powder of many naphthalene balls, mixes it in water and fills it in her water gun. After this, she goes to Eric's apartment so that she can also help him. But after reaching there, she finds out that Eric has also been killed by the spider. After this, Charlotte goes to Helga's apartment and finds Helga completely safe. Charlotte goes to her and smells naphthalene from Helga's clothes. Charlotte understands that this is the reason why the spider has not killed them yet. Because Helga has amnesia, that is why Charlotte gave her the number of the pest control department. She tells her to keep calling them. Saying this, she starts leaving from there when she hears Ethan screaming from the ventilation, who is still alive, but the spider has tied him with its web in the garbage area. Charlotte goes inside and pours water mixed with naphthalene on Ethan. Due to this, all the spider's web melt and Ethan is freed. At the same time, the spider comes there and attacks Charlotte, but Charlotte drives it away from there with naphthalene waters. On the other hand, Helga had also called the pest control department to her house. This is the scene that we see of the beginning of the movie. The scene comes to the present and it has 4 days since all this started. When the spider was taking Frank with him, Frank attacked the spider with a nail gun that he had with him. Due to this, the spider runs away from there for a while. But due to the nail gun, a lot of water starts leaking. And the effect of the naphthalene water on them also starts to wear off. Taking advantage of this opportunity, the spider once again takes Frank with it. Charlotte and Ethan try to save him but fail. But now Charlotte and Ethan wanted to save their family from the spider. That is why they go the same place where the spider had kept Ethan earlier. Ethan sees Heather and her son inside the same garbage container. As soon as he sees them, he immediately frees them. Seeing everyone safe, all 4 hug each other. But the spider has not stopped chasing them yet. She came here too. On seeing her, Ethan immediately tries to close the gate of the garbage container. However, he was unable to do so because the remote wire was not connected to the gate. He tries to connect the wire with his hand. Then he gets an electric shock which makes him unconscious. But by then, he had already connected the wire. On seeing this, Charlotte closes the gate and then the spider also reaches under the gate. Before it can come inside, the spider breaks into 2 pieces. Due to this, it dies. Heather tries to bring Ethan back to consciousness. After he regains consciousness, everyone relaxes. And now Charlotte calls Ethan Dad for the first time. Emotionally, Ethan hugs Charlotte and starts crying because his effort of so many days have paid off. After this, all 4 come out through that container. The scene changes. We see a lot of spider inside the ventilation pipe and see the eggs, and lots of babies are coming out of it. That is, the picture is still left. And with this hair-raising story of pets ends here. So friends, how did you like this story? Do tell us in the comment, and also don't forget to tell us which movie's story you would like to hear after this. If you liked our explanation, then support us by liking, sharing and subscribing to the video. See you soon with another interesting story. Till then, bye bye.